Oscar Villacis, a first-generation American, wants to enlighten your mind to everyday life as a first-gen in today's America. There is a perception in today's society, and Oscar is going to dive in and dissect the reality of being a first-gen. Join Oscar and his guests from all walks of life, discussing their trial and tribulations in today's America. Now your host, Oscar Villacis.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of First Gen American. I'm your host, Oscar Villacis. But first, can we get the mic up a little bit? Is that it? There we go. Perfect. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to First Gen American. I'm your host, Oscar Villacis. Before we get started, thank you to all of our sponsors. Rivera Nayarit. Rivera Nayarit is now hiring Mexican seafood right here, a restaurant right here in Nashua, New Hampshire. It's 116 West Pearl Street. West Pearl Street in Nashua, New Hampshire, giving us the street tacos, the birria tacos, the seafood galore within that authentic Mexican cuisine and family-owned, women-owned restaurant. Also, if you guys are going to Manchester, reach out to their sister restaurant, which is Mi Jalisco. Shout out to Roberto and Carla for the love and support, continuous love and support. And also, they're hiring in the location. They're looking for servers, cooks, and bartenders right here. So if you guys are interested, reach out and stop by and go see Roberto. You might get hired right on the spot. People are hiring everywhere. So it's a great opportunity if you're looking to switch gears in your career. Reach out to all of our wonderful sponsors. Also, Fences Unlimited. Fences Unlimited, fabricated fences for over 40 years, custom-made fencing right here in the Granite State in Windham, New Hampshire. They're also hiring, so they're looking for laborers and staff, and entry level, no experience required. They'll train you. And also, what I love about this company is that they're a brick and mortar mom and pop shop owned business with corporate benefits. So they'll provide a lot of great benefits for you. And again, if you're looking to shift careers, reach out to them. Also, never be too prideful to reach out if you need help for rental assistant. New Hampshire Housing Rental Assistance is looking to reach out to a lot of individuals within our Granite State that need help within rent. So reach out to them. Also, you guys, thank you for following us and following this journey, within First Gen, and having all these wonderful guests and repeated guests like our guest today, that are just truly moving and shaking the community. Sometimes it gets challenging within content and creativity, and you're like, what's next? But the inspiration within listening to your feedback and your engagement with us and private messaging us and showing us love and support within the community, we highly appreciate that. And it all makes it worthwhile. So thank you guys. And a special thanks to all of our listeners and our supporters. Today's guest, for the second time, my good friend, Rony. Camille, not only is he, a shaker and a mover, but he's a journalist in his own right, and has actually been done an editorial piece on 603 diversity. So everywhere we are, we kind of move paths together and kind of simultaneously grow together, and I love seeing that. But today's show is special because not only is he a father, but I'm going to become a father. So today's show is called First Gen Fatherhood. First Gen Fatherhood. We're both in a biracial marriage. We both are from ethnic descent, different. I'm Hispanic, he's Haitian, and we come from kind of like the same backgrounds of, that flavor, that authenticity, that Caribbean feel, and,
right.
and that upbringing, right?
Hey. Absolutely.
So we welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me back. It's always good to be home here on your flagship station, WSMN. It's where I got my my career started back in the day.
Yeah.
So it's always good to, I was just telling your your one of your cohorts in the hallway. I said
Yeah.
I used to work. I started my chops here many moons ago when
Yeah.
we were in a different location. So it's always good to be back. So thank you for having me.
Always a pleasure having you back. I just want to start off by saying congratulations. I can't believe your baby's gonna be one, right?
She's one. Yeah,
one.
She's,
She's one.
Yeah, 14 months. Yeah, soon to be 15 months. If we're keeping track that way, I say one, but
Yeah.
people are on the month to month developmental.
Yeah.
So
14.
after two, it's after 24 months. I'm gonna say she's two. So
Yeah. How old is your daughter? Oh, she's 18 months.
yeah, exactly. Once people say 36, I'm like, yo, stop it, stop it. They're two,
Right. So
three rather.
So tell me a little bit about, fatherhood, first gen, like everything, because I've been thinking about this lately, right? It's just like everything that we've learned up to right now, it's just now we have to move completely different.
Not necessarily move completely different, but I'd say for me, it's been every day is a learning lesson. I'm a first time dad. I am learning every day with this child. I have a daughter, Eliana, and we're chatting, off the air before we came into this room, into the studio, and I said, you have to give our parents the benefit of the doubt because they did the best that they could with the resources that they have and their knowledge, right? And so they prepared us for parenthood. And I can't give my parents enough credit, as well as the village. It takes a village. That saying, it takes a village to grow a child. And when I remember when I got married 4 years ago, everybody was in the room. I said, you guys are a reflection of us as we are a reflection of you. You've taught us how to live, how not to live, and every single one, including friends, that our parents are a reflection of that. So I try to use that mantra every day in my life, and sometimes I'll default to, okay, what would my mother have said? And it's it just comes out automatically, right? Or what would my dad would have done? It comes out automatically, and then sometimes it's good, and sometimes it's like I gotta stop and say, hold on a second. And my wife Jen will remind me of this. She's only one. She's only a baby. My mom will be like that too. She's like, she's only a baby, right? Yeah, but in my head, I'm like, no, she should know this now. Like, she'd be automatically programmed to do these things. But no, it's a learning experience, really. And you'll find you and Mrs. V will learn and grow into that too. You'll learn to navigate that, and you'll have your own rhythm too.
We talk a lot about on the show about like our upbringings and things that we didn't have the experience of learning from our parents, and some things that we're moving forward with, how we always want our kids to learn or know more than us, right? And how do you instill some of that into your daughter? And what do you see a lot of traits growing up that your mom was instilling in you and your parents into your daughter? And how are you moving differently? What are some things that you said, which is okay to do, dude? Like, this is something that I don't want to teach my daughter. I want to teach her this way.
I haven't come to that path, that crossroad yet. I don't think, but I am just amazed at how smart my child is. Every day, like she'll do something like, wow, like she knows how to do this, or she is. I describe my child as she just loves and cherish everything around her, which is so. You look at that innocent child, like that, just she'll give. She's very the word I'm looking for, she'll personalize things. So like her toy, she'll go and kiss the toy. We're reading a book. We're reading a book about great Black women. She'll kiss every single page. We'll go to the page of Dr. J. Jemison, who was the first Black female out in space, and she'll give the the kiss on the astronaut, the picture of the astronaut, and she'll point and be like, moon, and I'm like, wow, you know what the moon is? Or she'll look like star, and she's all these like words are. She's starting that vocabulary, and she looks at the space shuttle and she'll say up, up. She doesn't know what space shuttle is, but she knows. Like, we've been working on that because for the last 6 months it's been like car. Everything is car.
Yeah.
Loves cars. But now and you and I are big aviation nuts and aviation geeks. So I'm trying to get the little aviation bug in her, and she's like, no, car. And I'm like, that's not a car. It's an airplane. That's not a car. That's a space shuttle. Up. So she at least knows that.
Yeah.
So, but as far as the things that I wouldn't do versus the things I would want to do, I haven't really figured that out. There's no like set definition, if that makes sense.
For me, it's completely different. Like I already see myself moving differently, thinking differently. Like I love the show. I love doing this, but the when I see my wife, and she's creating life, and how I want to protect them, my wife and my daughters, I want to isolate myself from everything to protect them and to build and to just step away from everything. I want to just cut the cord, like just shut the music, shut the mic off, and just step away. And I don't think I've actually said this publicly until right now, because I feel that I just want to focus on them, because I didn't have that growing up, like that main focus. That focus was on survival for my family, right?
Yeah.
And that focus on survival disconnected a lot of families within first gens, and they wouldn't even notice it. Like, my parents were non-existent for me growing up. I had to be the older father, and then the son, and then the good student, all on my own.
Sure. And you know what? Now that you mention that, I'm realizing that I have to work better at this. We come from, a culture, we work is like, and providing for our families is top priority. Education is top priority. No, absolutely. I mean, I'm the oldest, and I was like the unofficial parent.
Exactly.
I was the unofficial parent to the point that, I'm saying this on air publicly. My siblings, they call me Mamadou. Because I was the one, like, all right, after school we're gonna have dinner, because my dad was sleeping, he worked overnight, mom was at work, so I was kind of making sure that, or he was at work coming home after dinner time. We can't be doing that now, the kids coming home alone. But that's what I was doing.
I was like 8. I had my own keys.
Right,
to the
exactly.
apartment.
I mean, exactly. Me too. I had my own keys.
Food was in the stove. Just heat it
right,
up. Put
heat it up. Put up.
microwave.
Exactly.
Make sure you do your homework.
Make sure you do
Don't
homework.
lock the door. Don't let nobody in.
Don't let anybody in. Yep.
I lived in Brooklyn, man.
Wow.
I lived in Brooklyn by myself. I walked around the corner.
Yep, Montreal. I mean, but then again, the parents weren't away that long, but just long enough. Like, okay, all right, you're covered. And when we moved to New Hampshire, it was sort of the same, but at least like both parents were around. At least there was one. Yeah. But yeah, we had this like thing, like working, like we got to work. And now that I'm a parent, we have these routines that we set in, and it's like, especially with my profession, I represent, a local municipal government, and I'm a manager, and sometimes, some of my direct reports, they're not available. So, who has to cover the shifts? The manager.
Right.
And sometimes it's hard. Like, we got daycare. You may not be able to pick up, I got to be able to pick up my child at a certain point in time. We got to give respect other people's time. Right. And, we're very thankful that we have our in-laws to help out too, and my family as well. But you keep that in mind, and trying to keep the routines in place. So there's a lot of balancing, and I have to step back and say, okay, all right, so there's a lot of no's. You say no. Before in the past, it was like, yep, I'll be at this event. Yep, I'll be doing this. Right? Yep, I'll do this activity. And you're like, once you have a child, priorities change. It's like, no, I got to be home.
Right.
I have to do bedtime. can you cover for me? Yep, you're covered. And people respect that. People understand.
Right. Now I tell my friends, because now I'm like, we're probably the oldest out of like kids that we went to high school with that are having kids now, right? At this age.
Yes.
And their kids are probably off to like
College.
College. That's crazy. Or even junior high, right?
Yes.
So they're like, okay, and now they're starting to get that freedom back because the kids are a little older. We're now starting a family a little
Exactly.
older, right?
Like,
So,
you want to go out? Nope,
no,
can't do that.
yeah.
Sorry.
And for me, it's much easier. But how is it, as a first gen, right? As a first gen American and a first gen father, how is it like when you see father figures from different cultures or even around your circle that you're like watching other men because of examples or maybe non-examples of how growing up did you have like I'm even questioning like I don't like male figures that are around me. I'm extra careful now on how like I see them, how they move with their family. Like if I have a close friend that's like potentially non-existent with his kids, I'm like, all right, this relationship is kind of gonna deteriorate and
Sure.
because I'm mindful of who I keep around me now.
Absolutely, as you should, anyway. So,
Yeah.
and not just in the parent, but just as you should overall in life is, and you just have to see, are they treating the excuse me, their children the way that they should be treating themselves,
Right.
or are they treating their children like crap? And especially when it comes to like discipline and teaching. And what I can tell you, Oscar, is I'm a sponge. I observe. That's my trade. That's what I've been. I just observe. I just sit there and observe, and I just look at how
I know you.
Yeah,
you.
I look back and say, all right, let me see how he's treating this child right here.
Yeah.
Okay, do I want to treat my child like that? Nah, I wouldn't have done it this way. I wouldn't. But it's easy. It's easy for somebody to armchair quarterback until they're in that moment, and you're like, oh, okay, I see why they did that. I see why they did this. But I probably would have tried this way.
But it's also because kids are a sponge too. Who you bring, who you have your kids around as for play dates, because their personalities of their kids your kids will mimic too, right? Talking about experiences, I'll give you an experience. Shout out to Katie and Montel. They have two beautiful daughters, and we went out to Hibachi, and this is when we were letting our friends know that my wife was pregnant, that we're about to have a child. At the time, we didn't know. We didn't find out that we were having twins until like 5 months into our pregnancy. But I'll leave that story for a little bit. But we were out to Hibachi, and my friend Montel, his daughters too, and for people, I guess they call it Irish twins when you have two children under 2.
Yes.
Right. So that's what they have, right? 2 girls, and his daughter was roaming around us at the table, and she got a drink, and then she spilled it on the ground, and then she stopped. She was scared because she made a mistake, right? So she looks at her dad's reaction. She looks at Montel, and he's cleaning it up, and he's saying, "Okay, don't go over there." And while he's cleaning it up, she's staring at him for his reaction to see how he was going to react. Was he going to react upset? Was he going to react? So for her to anticipate something of not knowing what and being that young, so he stopped completely, and he acknowledged that she was waiting for a reaction. And he looked at her and he tickled her belly. He said, "It's okay, honey." And then she's like, "All right, daddy." And that guard that just went down completely on a 2-year-old, on a baby, that meant everything to me. Because for that moment, like for me, I didn't have that growing up. For me, if I made a mistake, it was exactly, right? So
Baton.
I don't.
What's the Spanish word for the the sandal? There we go. That was it.
La chancla. So for me, like that is already another parenting skill of patience from a father and a relationship between a daughter, and that's something special.
Absolutely, and
because that, like, We didn't have that growing up.
And I will say that children, especially babies, they pick up on that energy. Those souls,
Oh yeah,
they
for
pick
sure.
up on that energy.
Right.
They really do. I mean, everybody's in tune. I mean, as we get older, we kind of lose that touch with that in tuneness, but children are in tune with that. If you are
Exactly.
not, if your energy is not, is on a different level, on a different frequency, they sometimes will match, or they just are like, I'm not gonna interact with you, or
Right.
they sense it. They sense it. I mean, I remember in the early days, Eliana was just upset, and they can't speak to you. They're just
Yeah.
crying. They're crying. They're upset, and I just couldn't. I could not figure it out, to the point I was upset. Like I went out. I put her in the crib and I removed myself because I was like, I need to remove myself and take a break. Like I left the bedroom. I left the apartment.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, let's try this again. Let's start from the top. All right. Is she fed? Yep. Is she does she need to be changed? Yep, she's dry. What's going on? What's going on? Oh, maybe it's gas. All right. I said, modern that Dave Chappelle skit, modern problems require modern solutions.
Right.
You get the drops, you get the gripe water, you get the gas drop, and then you burping, and then oh my God, you spat up. And then you're like, they spit up everywhere. They spit up on me. They spit up on her. We're looking at each other. And we're like, is that what was going on? And she's smiling.
Yeah.
And I'm smiling. and then we change our clothes and we go to bed. So, energy. And Jasmine, I'm sure you agree with me too. That energy, if it resonates. It's everywhere. And, they are in tune with that. So yeah, as a parent now, I have to think about, okay, do I want to instill that, like just because my child spilled something, to be like automatically 0 to 100? No, but there comes a point where are they gonna do it on purpose? And Eliana does this all the time. Well, she'll pick something up and be like, "Uh-oh!" I'm like, that is not a "uh-oh." That's
Yeah.
You did that on purpose.
Right.
Where does your food go? So. Yeah, it's that energy, man. You've got to be able to, conserve that and match it, and just kind of keep it on a level that, because they pick up on it. They really do.
Picking up on habits and traditions, right? Biracial relationships, marriages, cultures, traditions, upbringings, right? With your wife and your family, and my wife, and usually and we all love this, especially pregnant women out there. Everybody's projecting when I was pregnant, I went through this, and I was like, when I went through this, and you're gonna go through that. I'm like, stop projecting. For anybody that's listening, for any woman that's pregnant, every pregnancy is different. Every woman is different. Stop projecting your pregnancy upon somebody else's, and let them. Experiences and opinions are welcome, but they're not necessary.
Exactly. And I
You know
mean,
what I'm
and if they wanted your opinion, they would ask, like,
Yeah.
hey, how was it like when you went X,
You
Y,
must
and-"
have morning sickness at 5 months. I had morning sickness. I was like, no, she's completely fine. Sorry, you had morning sickness at month 5, but that's another. And please, rub my belly first before you rub a pregnant woman's belly. Seriously, because I'm not. That's a no. Just don't. Oh my God, your belly's so cute. Can I rub it? It's like, no. Give him some space.
Give him some space. I mean,
Yeah,
at least ask. And
Yeah,
you're like,
exactly.
no, I don't feel like it. I don't even dare.
Rub my belly. I love belly rubs. Before you rub my wife's. And so tell me some of the traditions and things that and how, like, with Christmas and holidays, what are some traditions that your wife had that you guys are trying to instill and kind of multicultural together, mix it?
So this past year has been really interesting for us. We've over the last few years we've actually tried to do a joint family Christmas, or joint holidays rather, because for the and Jenna and I have been together for a long time, where we would do two of each holiday. Like, we're going to this house, and we're going to this house, and we're going to this house, and I'm just like, can we just stop? So when we did our first Thanksgiving, and we didn't really host it, but my in-laws did at their house. they have a bigger house. So they invited the entire family, and it was great. And I couldn't thank them enough. And everyone brought something.
Nice.
So that was really nice to just have the family together. And New Year's, New Year's is is a Haitian Independence Day, so we have to have the subjumu. So we all go down to my aunt's house. This year we could not go because of the pandemic. Somebody in our family was sick at the time, so luckily, we reached out to our friends over at Greenleaf, Chef Vio. I got to give our plug to our Haitian brother over there, and they had the soup. He and his family made the soup. We went and got the soup.
Don't forget our new
a
compadre.
new guy. Yeah. Oh yeah,
Don't-
absolutely.
Chef Aura,
or Chef Oriel. Yeah.
Don't forget our new compadre right here. On
Absolutely.
Main Street, Caribbean
Yep.
Breeze.
Caribbean Breeze
I mean,
is
Greenleaf.
great.
We've reached out to Greenleaf to have that dude come on the show a couple of times.
He is busy.
He's busy,
Now he's
get
top
it.
chef. He's top chef.
top
Bravo.
chef or not, he's a first gen.
He is a first chef.
He's a first gen, so he needs to.
He's got his own press people now.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
how.
Oh, it's like that. Oh, that was one of the issues. Like, well, we can't have him come in because we have to reach out to his people because of Bravo and like.
Yeah,
he's under contract with Bravo.
Once you reach that level, that's you get press people. So so but I'll give him a call. We'll see what we can
Tell
do.
your people something, man. Like,
But as far as the traditions go, it's been ever since we got married or together, it's been kind of like we've just kind of blended everything together. And whether it's Thanksgiving, Christmas, Christmas is like we still kind of flip flop. New Year's, we haven't had my in-laws over for New Year's just yet to have the jumu, but I'm hoping we could get them next year. But yeah, it's kind of like we kind of just mismatch everything, and we embrace everything. You have to. Where it comes with the differences, it's more of when I was pregnant and this and that, or feel free to reach out because I'm a parent. Like, yeah, I understand, I'm a parent. Let me figure it out. Let me try to figure it out myself. But at the same time too, I was I'm gonna pick up the phone and say, Mom. So did you ever encounter this? And my wife is the same with her mom. They're like, did you ever encounter this with when I was a child? Well, I did this or I did that. Okay, all right, I'll try it out. So
nice, man. It's truly it's crazy because we were talking about it takes a village, but then you become the village to your own siblings.
You do, yeah.
Right, and then everything that instills. I just hope that, for every first gen that is out there, that is becoming a first father, first mother, I hope that they feel confident enough and healed enough to be able to not portray that trauma that they're still dealing with as an adult.
Right.
And that trickles down and tear their to the second generation.
Absolutely.
Because that's important. Like that, I'm self-aware of everything that I've learned and that I've expressed through the show and that we've expressed as first gens. And I'm saying, okay, am I healed enough to be able to not project this towards my daughters, right? Because I don't want that, because that's like a microaggression that our parents did. It's like, when I was your age, I figured it out. And I came here with $2, less than $2 to the United States, and I figured it out, and you're going to figure it out. But we need that guidance, even as adults, till this day, right? Whenever too old to learn, right? And we're still moving forward.
And I talked about this the last time I was here. I talk about setting the elevator back down, and I talk about this in my profession, but also, now I think it's our responsibility to help the next generation so that they don't struggle like we did, so they don't struggle like our parents did. It doesn't have to be grand, a big act. It could be the smallest of the acts. I cannot put a specific example right now, but being able to show them love, compassion, and how to treat one another. And just showing them love. And I think that's the one thing we do every day in our family. It's just showing each other love and respect, and talking it out to each other. And even though Eliana is not at an age where she could fully verbalize, we try to be patient. There's some days where we're like, oh my God, child, what is it? Like, but we try to be patient. And that's it's such a huge responsibility. And it goes by quickly. How quickly a year goes by, and you're like, whew, it is such a huge responsibility, but it must be done.
You only they say that you only have a child for 4 years, a baby for 4 years, and like after the 4 years, the baby just starts developing in a rapid pace. It's like every 6 to 9 months, just something brand new,
and that's it. And
then you ship them off to school,
right? And you get that moment once.
Yeah. There's
something floating around on social media, and it's like, wow, it kind of, the guy kept going on, like, you only get that moment between age 0 and 4.
Yeah.
You only get that one time, that one shot, and after that, that's it. And it's like, well, yeah, it's depressing, but at the same time, you have to make every single those moments count. Like, for example, yesterday, I had to work because part of my responsibilities is to cover, holiday events, public events, and so I had to go to work, but my family joined me afterwards. We spent a little time together, and then they went off to at home. I wrapped up my work, went home, but I still had some more work to do. And I watched Eliana for a little bit, and then my wife came back. It's like, we're gonna go outside, and I'm like, I need to get this work done. So it's like, all right, well, I guess Dad is not coming outside ever. And it's like, no, that's not what I said. But you have to remember, like, oh my God, like, she's gonna be playing outside. I know there's gonna be other moments she'll be playing outside, but I want to be able to enjoy all of those moments. I'm here, so I'm like, all right, let me go cut this video, and export it, post it to social, and I'm going to keep it moving and at least enjoy some of that time, because you're not going to get it back. You really are not. We take 100 photos. Back in the day, our parents only had 24 per roll, and now we're like, click, and putting up to the cloud, to the point that I'm running out of space in the cloud. I literally am running out of space.
We just upgraded our phones, and my wife was like, yeah, I'm going to need double the memory now. Like, not only do I take pictures for our dogs, but now our twins and stuff.
Right.
And it's amazing how fast they grow. Going to, you get those 4 years. Having a baby in this environment where it's scary, where you're like, somebody made a comment. It was like, you guys choose to have I think it was Tom. You guys choose to have a baby when there's no formula and there's a pandemic. I'm like, I don't think you had a choice.
You have no choice.
You have no choice. Like, it's, and the crazy part, but the most scary part is, is what's going on, like what happened in Texas.
Yes.
And my condolences to all the families, all 19 families that were affected by this tragic shooting. It goes without saying, like, how many condolences and prayers can we reach, and how many people can we reach in circumstances like this? And it's just crazy to think that, God forbid, you kiss your daughter, you kiss your son for that last time, and you send them off to school, and I'm pretty sure you had to do some coverage on this.
This past week, no, because I now work in the municipal, the government sector, but it does not mean that has affected me. It really did. We've had an increase in these sort of incidents, and I was just counting in my head, it's been almost 25 years. I mean, I remember the major one, the first one out in Columbine, Colorado. I was in the 8th grade when that happened.
Right.
That's 25 years, 1998. Yes, that's about 24 years. And and since that time, I have witnessed not, firsthand, but secondhand in coverage. There's a lot of them. And in my profession, you try to compartmentalize that feeling out. I don't want to say it hits different. It does hit different as a parent, especially this week. Two of the girls that died tragically were taken away from this earth had the same name as my daughter. And that just hits different. It really hits different. And when is it gonna be enough? I think in anywhere on this planet, anywhere in the universe, you should be able to send your offspring off, and they should be able to come home, and they should be able to be safe in a safe environment. And to hear some of those gut-wrenching stories, to hear some of what, there's one mom that actually went in and rescued her child. To hear those stories is just, it's more than pulling at the heartstrings. It just shakes you a different way. So much so that, last week I honestly, and my child was sick, but she felt better on, she goes to daycare twice a week, and I think on the day that she was supposed to go, I kind of just said, "Oh, I think she should stay home." And my wife was like, no, we pay a lot of money for her. We already paid, so she's going. She feels better. She's going." And I'm like, I think I'm gonna go to drop off. Like, we don't need to be both there at drop off. And I didn't want to explain it at that point. I'm like, I just want to go, and so I dropped her off. And Eliana is like, "Wait a minute, you picked me up. How come you're dropping me off? What is going on?"
Yeah.
She's again. When we talk about kids in tune into that, so I personally, I think we need to do more to protect our children. Not to get into the whole Second Amendment and not into that, but we need to do more. We need to do more. Kids should be safe in any environment, any.
I think that it doesn't affect us internally, and change won't happen until it affects all of us equally. And here's the thing, and what I was thinking about this the other day. Megan was reading the article, and we just started both crying because these kids were, and it does hit different when you're a parent or you're about to be a parent, and I just think that in order, just like an Amber Alert, right? We all get notifications. I think that if moving forward, in order for us to hold our senators and governors in accountable for each action that happens, I think that we all have to take the initiative to be able to hold them accountable, and this is how we do it. If there's a school shooting, right? Let's say if it's out in let's say in Florida or anywhere, right? Like Sandy Hook or any of these schools. If there's an alert for a school shooting, lock down the whole school nations. Every single school should be treated like if they're under attack. And just like if there's a terrorist attack, guess what they do? The whole country shuts down their airports and there's no fly zone, right? Lock down all of the schools nationwide, and guess what happens? All the parents are gonna be like, "This is enough. This is interrupting my child's education, and this is affecting all of us now. You guys need to do something." So you call your senators and your governors, and guess what? Now everybody in every state is holding them accountable to do something in Washington. But if it only happens in Texas, guess what we're gonna do? We're gonna go on social media, and we're going to send our posts, our condolences in our heart, and then we're going to go about our day, because it doesn't affect us. It hurts us a little bit because we're parents, but it's not going to affect us as a whole. Now, if it affects us as a whole, and then now it's not an out of sight, out of mind, every single time there's a school shooting, we'll be notified because our schools are getting locked down and shut down every single time. You disrupt a Karen's school student, and you don't think his mother's going to call their state representative or their senator or their governor every single time. And now imagine getting 1,000 of those calls every single time. You guys don't think they're going to take a flight to Washington and they're going to actually start doing something? Hey, this is getting out of hand.
Yeah, hopefully that would be the case, and hopefully, it's unfortunate that it takes a big event for people to be civically engaged. But that's if this is what needs to happen. I'm not calling for. I pray to God we don't have another incident
Absolutely.
like we had last week.
But how many how many shootings?
How many shootings do we need to have?
200. It's like our 400 and something day within a year,
Right.
And we have about 226, 230 shootings already. Look what happened. Oh God! Look what happened in Buffalo.
Yeah, right.
Look what happened in
we
Buffalo.
came out of Buffalo, and and that happened, and that could have been easily prevented. And then right after that, a shooting in Texas, and then right after that, a shooting in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and right after that, just it goes on and on and on, and it's, it gets to be exhausting. It gets to be exhausting for those that are covering those types of stories day after day after day. I was talking to a friend of mine who is in Texas. She's in a newsroom in Texas and just chatting back and forth. And she said, I had to take a mental health day. I said, do you need resources? Do you need help? She goes, I really appreciate you checking up on me because, it's hard. It's hard. And they're not even on the ground on location. They're just getting it secondhand, but just parsing through all that content and stories, it's a lot to deal with. Even I reading that stuff, it's a lot to go through, and you just get really frustrated, and you don't know where to put that frustration against. Is it the policy? Is it the law enforcement? Is it the school district? Is it just the system overall? You just don't know. So I'm hoping that people feel empowered to request the policies, request, how police handle school shootings or, these sort of scenarios. Just figure out what is their training like. I think this will, I'm hoping that this will be the pivot that people will actually be involved in how school districts operate, how police department operates.
I think that it has to go all the way around within, like, you'll block me from posting a song that we have rights to play, but then a kid will post that he wants to shoot up a school within 24 hours.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't get flagged to the local force and local law enforcement,
exactly.
right? Like it's just crazy how many signs were missed over and over again. It's just crazy. Like, if there's a mental health crisis where you're literally reaching out to social media and social media doesn't flag that and puts it out to a parent or guardian,
and Oscar,
and then you turn 18 and you go into a gun shop and you just buy thousands and thousands rounds of ammunition the day you turn 18.
Nothing adds up. Nothing about this adds up
Come
at all.
on now.
Nothing.
Like, come on.
Nothing adds up, and it's just. And this is what really baffles me. Like, nothing about this story this past week adds up. It just. I'm like, how is this possible? How is it that we just lost 22 people like that? The New York Times did release something yesterday. The timeline, just the timeline alone, I'm like,
an hour
what?
and a half.
An hour, 73 minutes.
He went on. I believe he was on a chase, and then they disabled his truck, or he got into a crash, and then he was able to run into the school. He was in there for an hour and a half, I believe. But
And the girl called, and she goes, "I hear you guys outside. Come in. That's what just all of it just really baffles me.
One girl had to grab like another student's blood to smear it on her to play dead. At these survival instincts at like 9-10 years old, to be able to do that, she's gonna need counseling for the rest of her life.
No child should have to go through that.
Yeah,
no child should have to go through that.
I know we kind of pivot into like something dark, but this is real. This is what's happening, and like we're bringing two beautiful girls into this world. You have a beautiful girl. Jasmine has a beautiful little girl. I can't imagine. I can't fathom. Like, it just something needs to get done. Like, I'm telling you, if in order for it's right now, it's out of sight, out of mind. Unless if on social media we know about it, and then unless if it's on the news we know about it, right? But we will feel the effects if we all kind of go through this together as a nation. If there's a school shooting somewhere in Alabama or wherever, God forbid, you lock down all of the schools nation, every single kindergarten, high school, elementary school, junior high, you lock it all down, then we start holding each other accountable, and then we start taking count. Then it affects everybody. Right. Because if it affected Texas, if it affected Buffalo, right? If you have a terrorist attack, God forbid, and there's a no-fly zone, there should be and there's a school shooting, there should be a lockdown for every single school.
Well, you say that, but also that, that whole no-fly zone, that was unprecedented. What happened in 2001, unprecedented. I mean, the skies never shut down ever, right? That was a major undertaking to do. That the FAA did. Right. All those air traffic controllers, like, trying to get all those planes down. Not to, we're now chasing squirrels. But if that's what needs to happen to, effect change and have an employee school lockdown, and maybe we'll see that. Maybe not, because each district is different. Right. The federal government doesn't oversee every single school district in the country. They don't. They have some things that they oversee, with the various titles with the Department of Ed. But that'd be interesting to see if your method would work.
I'm telling you, if we're able to do that, and every single body takes effect. Like, if we get a notification, if all teachers have cell phones, everybody has cell phones. Mm-hmm. If you get an alert of a school shooting, right, and you get it on your phone, the principal and the superintendent gets notified, shuts down the whole school, lockdown, and you do a drill. If we could do fire drills and situations like this happen, then we can do these type of drills to be able to hold each other accountable.
One of the things that somebody brought up online, and I don't have the name of the person, but the kids that are now are in a generation where they're doing this drill. They know what to do. Right. They know what to do, and it's giving that situational awareness to perpetrators that they know exactly what to do, right? And one of the things that it just made me think about that, like, oh my God, like, they already know, they could circumvent that. They know what the protocol is, or
bulletproof, like they're selling bulletproof backpacks on Amazon, like that's crazy.
Or when a situation happens, teachers are instructed apparently to lock. No one's. If you're in the hallway, that's it. You're done. And it's really sad to see that if that's the case. I work not really close with law enforcement. I support some of their messaging as part of my role in government. It's making sure that the public knows what some of the training is. I know one of them is ALICE, which is kind of it's an acronym of, if something were to happen, you have to quickly assess, either quickly run away, or hide or fight or whatever. And I think everyone should be prepared. As we can see what happened last week, we can't rely on law enforcement to help us all the time. No matter what your stand is on where we are at in this country, I think it's a fair statement to say that folks need to be trained, and they need to be prepared for any scenario. I mean, if you walk into a restaurant right now, you have to know where the exits are. If there's an emergency, you need to leave. You got to go. Those are the basic things. If there were an incident, you need to be able to how to treat yourself before help arrives.
Read the room.
Exactly. So that's what needs to happen.
What was that town? What's that town in Texas where this happened?
Uvalde.
Uvalde.
Mm-hmm.
Back in 2018, they received $24 million in revamped gear, right, for rifle defense, shield, and armor, right? But yet, they sunk all this money into this police department in Uvalde, right? And yet, they didn't want to go in. They didn't want to go in. They didn't want to go into the school. They were waiting and assessing and all that, and it's just it. And you know, when I see these people with their stickers, you know, most of these people that have these, I bear arms, Second Amendment, to hold and I see these on their trucks. I bet you these guys probably never got into a fist fight in their life. I'm telling you, like these guys that have these bumper stickers never got into a fist fight in their lives, because in situations like this where, and Jasmine has some friends in the deep in the woods that probably have some bumper stickers of Second Amendment, because she's looking at me like, what are we talking about here? But I'll say what I gotta say. Like, you know, to have a Second Amendment sticker and to bear arms in situations like this, man, it's just not the time and the place. Like, this is completely, you know, to think about all these mass shootings and to still have that sticker privately. Like, granted, you know, everybody can carry. Like, if you're gonna proudly put a bumper sticker that says Second Amendment after everything that's going on, you're giving out the wrong message. You're giving out the wrong message. You know, everybody really, how lost are we as a nation? How embarrassing is it that we're still having these shootings? Kids are dying. You can't even go grocery shopping and think that this might be my last purchase. You know, like, it's just crazy how, and here we are, you know, like, we're the proudest country in the world, but we have the worst massacre. Yeah, we have a lot of issues. No country's perfect, and you know, you say that it is their constitutional right, but at the same time too, you know, kids deserve to be safe in this country. Kids deserve to be safe anywhere in the world, and at the same time too, people should be prepared and know, you know, how to deal with sort of such a scenarios. They can't be oblivious to them, because it could happen. It could happen anywhere. I mean, and I know our time is running short, but I remember a time when I was at the grocery store and I'm like, you know, tuned out with headphones, and something happened, and I thought, oh my God, is something happening? Come to find out, it was two guys fighting over the last piece of produce in the store. But at that time, it just made me realize to go back to my training of, you know, just being vigilant out there, because the world is not, it is not what it seems, and we hold such a deep responsibility in keeping not only ourselves but our families and children safe. So you're saying that, you know, the Second Amendment, you were saying that the Second Amendment, everybody's entitled to the Second Amendment. As of right now, yes, it's part of the United States. It's my God-given right to bear arms here in the United States of America. Is that what you telling me? You can keep my guns? Listen. I'm not saying anybody can't, you know, but there should be a mental health. There should be an extensive background. Oh, absolutely. An extensive background. Sure. You if a kid can't go buy, if a kid can't go drink and drive, and I'm not condoning that, because you have to wait till the age of 21 and up. I'm saying maybe just push it a little bit up to 21. Mm-hmm. Right? Do a background check. How many people just walk in? This kid just walked in out of nowhere and just bought $1,000 rounds of ammunition. Yeah, nothing adds up to that. Nothing adds up to that story. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, this was First Gen American with Rony, Camille, and thank you for having me. Thank you for your experience and congratulations. Thank you so much, man. Scary times, but we will do our best to be great parents and raise great little citizens and young entrepreneurs. All right, guys. Thank you to all of our sponsors, Rivera Nayarit, Mi Jalisco, and Zapopan, and all of the amazing listeners and followers, and we appreciate everybody tuning in. And also, if you need some rental assistance, reach out to New Hampshire Housing. Thank you so much. Fences Unlimited and all of our sponsors. Until next time.